Hello, everybody. How's it going today? So, today I'm going to share a little story about how and why I eventually left my 9 to 5. And I tell this story in different formats. It's essentially the same story, but I bring up different emotional points because I think the escaping your 9 to 5 is more emotional than it is logical. And that's why I bring up the why. The how is kind of simple. The how of escaping your 9 to 5 is pretty simple. Is you make enough money to escape your job to pay for your lifestyle. But the why is where I think it's more important. For me, I never fit into corporate America. I'm not sure how you guys fared, but I never fit into corporate America. And to be honest, I probably never fit into school either. I would be so jealous all of the time that while I'm in school, people that I'm in class with, they seem like they're doing way less work and yet they're getting grades that were so much better than me. So it was like they're a part of the smart group. And I'm like, why can't I catch a break? How come they're excelling so much better than me? So I'm just like, all right, this sucks. Whatever. I'm just gonna do my thing, and then eventually we'll graduate. And then I graduate, right? I graduate, and what do we got to do? We got to go get a job. We got to go get a job because that's what everybody does. Everybody goes to get a job. So I get a job, and the first thing I notice is that everybody within corporate America, they are all. I don't want to call them a brown noser, but everybody plays this game. Do you guys notice this? Do you guys notice this game that everybody plays where they're like yes men or yes women, and they do this thing where they suck up to their boss, and you can tell at the front and you can tell they're fake, and they even use different voices. And I'm just like, wow, you're not being authentic right now. You're not being truthful to who you actually are. There is no personality in you right now that I'm seeing. And I just couldn't do that. I couldn't play that game. I could not play that game where you suck up to your boss in such a way that you no longer know who you are because you're just part of the corporate machine. And I started to feel like I would lose my soul. And the longer I stayed there, in order to move ahead, I would also have to sell my soul. I would have to play that game of where I would have to become like them, that brown noser, right? And we got a comment here. Brown nosers are the worst of people. And I agree. I agree. And I know why they do it, right? They're doing it just because they want to get a raise. They're just playing the game for what the game is. And I get it, right? But I didn't want to do that. And because of that, I never fit in. I never fit in. And because I never fit in, I suffered. Do you guys feel that way? Do you suffer where you are? Did so some people want to escape their 9 to 5 because they don't make enough money. But other people like me, they wanted to escape their 9 to 5 because you could not be authentic to who you are. You're suffering within your environment. You are going to a place that you absolutely hate every single day, right? And so you need to get free of that so that you can change the world. And I'm not sure if everybody cares to change the world or have any kind of impact like that, but I cared that my life would have more meaning than just to be a cog within the machine. And so I decided to fight back. I decided to push back. And how I did that was what really got my brain going was reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. Rich Dad Poor Dad taught me all about how to invest in real estate, and then you can have passive income, which pays for your business or your expenses, and then you're free, right? And that idea was revolutionary to me. I was just like, oh, I'm in there, right? So I did that. So I read that book, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to become a real estate investor, right? I want to become a real estate investor, and then I am going to get out of here. I'm going to get out of here. Oh, we got another comment. Yep, I just want to be my authentic self. If you guys have not been authentic to yourselves in a very long time, you almost forget what it is to be authentic, and then you forget that you're playing the game, and then you start to absorb this persona that you don't actually like, and nobody else actually likes it too because you're being fake, right? And if you guys notice the post that I do, I'm very authentic. I try to be funny, and I'm just being me, and it's so freeing, right? So if you guys have not experienced that in a very long time, let me tell you, it is worth it. It is worth it. You are worth it. So let's go back to the book. So I read the book and I'm like, yeah, like I don't know if you've ever had something that has impacted your life so profoundly that all of your thoughts and all of your actions just funnel to a point, and it's like, okay, that's what I need to do. Those are the actions I need to take every single day. And so for me, it was, I need to figure out how to invest in real estate so that I can collect passive income, so that I can be out of this place. I hate this place. I don't want to come back to this place, right? So reading that book showed me at least my path. And that is the struggle, right? For a lot of people who want to escape their 9 to 5, they don't have the path to walk down. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what to do. And so if you don't know what to do, you end up doing all kinds of stuff. And when you do all kinds of stuff, you never stack anything really tall. You have a whole bunch of stacks, really short stacks, right? And in order to create any kind of momentum, you need to have a really tall stack of skills and actions and things that, like, results that you can go back to. So finally, I had something to put all my effort into so that I can stack skill after skill after skill after skill. And by stacking all these skills, I can take those skills and convert that into money, right? That's the thing. You need to convert your stack into money. If you have a whole bunch of short stacks, you are not a master of anything. And if you don't master anything, you don't get paid a lot. So I needed to stack skills and become a master and then trade that for money. Here's the problem. Just because I wanted to become a real estate investor did not mean I knew what I was doing. So I had bought a house already at this time. So I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad in 2009. I had bought a house. I bought my house, the one that I lived in 2007, right? So I bought my house in 2007. So I knew that process. I knew how to buy a house that way. It was like, okay, put a down payment and all that kind of stuff. And then you get a mortgage from the bank and then you go buy a house. Cool. I knew that. So I tried to use that same logic to buying an investment property. But in my brain, right, or the way I did the math was, I saw a property that I wanted to buy, and I calculated what is the rent? What's the rent coming in? And so I calculated the rent, and then I was like, okay, if I put this down payment, and I get this mortgage, and I collect this rent, how much money do I have left over? Like, how much cash flow do I have left over? And more importantly, how long will it take to pay back my down payment? So if my down payment was $60,000, how many months or years would it take in order to pay back my down payment? And my calculation came out to be like 7 or 8 years. 7 or 8 years. Like, what? So you're telling me if I put a down payment on this property, I buy this place, this house, this triplex, it would take me 7 years before I can go do it again? I've never been a real estate investor before this, but I don't think that works. Or if that does work for other people, it doesn't work for me. So I hit a brick wall. I stopped for 2 years. For 2 years, I told people I was a real estate investor who just didn't have any properties, right? For 2 years, because I couldn't figure it out. I got really frustrated at myself because that was another form of being inauthentic. It's this lie that I kept saying, right? Oh yeah, I'm a real estate investor. I just never bought a property before as an investment property, right? And that inauthenticity, that's a huge motivator. That pushed me, that drove me. And so I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. I had a chance encounter with a commercial real estate investor who happened to be putting on a seminar. You got to fast forward 2 years. Right? 2009, I read that book. 2011, I have this chance encounter with this person who is a real estate investor. He's a real estate investor, and he was teaching a seminar. 2011, there were not a lot of real estate seminars going on. Today, there's tons of them. I teach one, right? But back then, there was not a ton of them. And I had this chance encounter with this real estate investor. And he taught me way back then what we know of as the BRRRR strategy today, where it's you buy the property, you renovate it, you rent it out, you refinance, and then you repeat. And you do that over and over and over, right? I learned that back in 2011. And that whole refinance part, that was key. I never knew about the refinance. That's where you go to the bank after you buy the property, not before, right? You go to the bank after you're done everything, and then you refinance all your money back out. And by doing that, I've got all my money back within a year, not 7 to 8 years. And when I learned that, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's it. I found the solution. I found the secret. That right there, that is what changed everything. Now, this is where a lot of people have a breakdown. This is where I almost had a breakdown, and I can remember it vividly. When he asked me, the person who was teaching the seminar, when he asked me, hey, now that you know all of this stuff, would you like to buy this property? And he offered something to me. He was like, here's the address. Here's the potential rents. Here's how much I want to buy. I want to sell it for, or how much you can buy it for. Do you want to buy it? And now it's like, okay, I have all this theory. I know all of this stuff, right? Now I got to go do something with it. I don't know. This is where, what they say, the rubber meets the road, right? I was like, I don't know. But I remember back when I was in 2009, when I went to try to buy a property, I called a real estate agent, right? I called a real estate agent and I told him, hey, I'm a real estate investor now. Please send me all of your good deals. Send me all of the good deals and let's get to work, right? And here's the problem with that question, or here's the problem with that statement. I'm calling him, hey, send me all your good deals. Problem number one, he didn't know what a good deal was, right? He had no idea. He was a real estate agent, not an investor. That's one of the biggest mistakes that people make. They assume because that person is in real estate that they know what they're talking about. That person did not know what they were talking about. So problem number one was that they didn't know what a good deal was. Problem number two, I didn't know what a good deal was. He's taking me around seeing all these properties, right? I'm walking through. I don't know what I'm looking at either, right? So here's the blind leading the blind. He knows what a house looks like because he's an agent that helps home buyers buy homes. I'm a newbie real estate investor who doesn't really know what they're looking at all. I'm walking through with him. I'm telling him, send me all your good deals. He doesn't know what a good deal is. I don't know what a good deal is. We're walking through this property. We're just looking blind. So that was a problem, right? So I remember that, right? I remember that whole situation. And so then after my mentor was like, hey, do you want to buy this property? I'm thinking, well, now I know what I'm talking about. Now I'm educated, and now I know how to actually analyze a deal. Now I know what a good deal is. So I looked at the deal and I analyzed it again and again and again and again. And I could not kill the deal. What that means, I would make the numbers worse and worse and worse to see if the property would still perform. And it did. As crazy as it just kept performing. Like I would run the value at the original thought, like what we thought it would appraise for, and then I would cut $10,000 off, and I cut another 10, and cut another 10, and I kept doing that. And I was like, I can't kill this deal. So I was a very different person from when I was walking through with the real estate agent, neither of us knowing what we're talking about, to now highly educated, right? Highly educated, knowing exactly how to analyze it, knowing exactly what numbers to put in the Excel spreadsheet. But I was scared to death. I was scared. It does not matter how educated you are. That fear is so real. It is so real. Have you guys ever experienced something like that where you know that this is right, this is good, all that kind of stuff. You're confident in it, whatever. Yet you are still so scared because you never gone through it before, right? So this was that turning point. This was that tipping point where it's like, all right, Hone, you've been asking for this for 2 years, right? You've been talking all of this trash for 2 years. Here's the perfect deal for you. What are you going to do? Oh, man. Oh, man. So then I'm like, all right, I'm really going through it now. And I'm like, all right, where am I getting the money from? He's like, okay, you're going to use hard money. Okay. Okay, I know about hard money. I learned that in the class, right? What are the rates for the hard money? Back then, the hard money lender that I used was 16%. 16%. So in order to do this deal, I would need to agree to borrowing hundreds of thousands of dollars at 16% on my first real estate deal. And I'm like, oh, man, this is something else. I tell you, this is something else. But I can remember the moment, right? I can remember the moment when I was at the closing table. So it's real. We got the title company we processed the property. We know all this stuff. I'm sitting in the title company's office, and it's got, you got the stack of papers, right? You got the whole stack of papers, and it's like, okay, all you got to do is sign right here. Everybody has agreed. The seller agreed. The funding agreed. The title said it's clear. Everything's good. Just sign your name. And I knew at that moment, if I signed my name, everything would change from that point forward. Everything. Because I would go from not being an investor to becoming an investor, right? That was the critical moment right there. Hone, just sign your name. All right. And then in my mind, as I'm about to go to sign it, I'm thinking, if this deal doesn't go right, I have hundreds of thousands of dollars that I need to pay back, that I got to figure out what to do with, that I don't know. It was just all of those thoughts just rushing to my mind. And then I also remember saying to myself, okay, well, my philosophy always is fire, aim, ready. Here we go. Fire, sign, right? Fire, sign. All right, Hone, now that you've signed, let's aim. Fire, aim, ready. Let's aim now. You've signed. Now what I'm aiming is I'm doing the property. I'm aiming and readjusting. Aiming, readjust. Aim, readjust as I'm doing the project. The project takes 8 months, right? The project takes 8 months of renovation. So I'm doing something, and then I'm like, okay, I can do it a little better. And then I do something else. I can do a little better. I can't adjust anything that I'm not doing, right? So if I never signed my name, if I never bought the property, I would never be able to adjust my actions because I would not be taking any actions. So that's why in my philosophy, fire, sign your name. Aim. Okay, Hone, what are you doing today? Okay, cool. How did that go? Not so great. Okay, what can be improved? How can that be better? So then I aim and aim and aim. And then when I'm done the whole property, 8 months later, right? 8 months later, I have this property and it's fully rented out and it's 6 units. So I have 6 tenants in this building, right? And I stand back and I'm looking at this building. I go, wow, I'm a real estate investor. How about that? Okay. Like, I'm ready for this now. Like, all right. And now I'm ready. Now that I'm done, right? I got my first one under my belt, which is probably the hardest one for most people. I got this one. And it's just one of those like, I did that. I did that with my efforts. I created this thing that was a busted up shell, and I designed the whole place. I designed where the kitchens would go, how the walls would be, where the doors were. I designed all of it. I hired contractors to do it. I got tenants in the building. They're paying rent. And I'm looking at this completed project and I go, wow, I'm a real estate investor. How about that, right? So at that point, I'm ready now, right? So it's fire, aim, ready. I'm ready now that I'm all done. Most people, if you go the other way, right? If you're going ready, aim, fire, if you go ready, aim, fire, people get stuck at the aim. They go ready, aim, aim, and then they never fire. I would never be ready, truly ready to fire if I didn't just fire first. So I fired, aim, ready. So now I'm ready. I'm looking at this property. And I'm like, wow, I'm good, right? So now I got this property. I refinanced out. I paid back my hard money lenders. I'm collecting 6 incomes from all of the units. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. Then I ran into another problem. All right, so that first one was good because my mentor sold me that property. That's cool. But after that, the program's over. My mentor's not running his class anymore. He sold me the property. He doesn't have anything else to sell me. I'm stuck. I'm almost back to where I was when I first started, right? I'm this person who knows his stuff, and now I don't have any deals. I don't have anybody to talk to. I'm not staying focused. I'm just like, man, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. So what ends up happening is I get invited to another real estate group by my buddy Jason. He's like, hey, I see, I remember you're in real estate. Maybe you want to check this thing out. So I check it out. And it's a real estate education program, but it also had a support system, Facebook group, the whole nine, right? And at first I was like, no, Jay, I don't need this education. I already know what I'm doing. I went to this other seminar. I learned everything about real estate. I know everything about real estate. My middle name is the Real Estate Encyclopedia. Like, I don't need this. That was dumb of me. That was so dumb of me. Like, who did I think I was, right? I hadn't done a ton of projects, I got hand-fed this one from my mentor, and I thought I was amazing. So luckily for me, I came to his meeting, and I came back to his meeting the next month, and I saw it in a completely different way, right? My whole mind shifted. So when I'm sitting through his meeting, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, it would be really nice to be in this community, because within this community, they would support me in what I'm trying to do. And I get to work with other people who are doing things that I might be interested in. So I remember thinking that, oh, that person, he does a lot of lease options. I've never done a lease option. I kind of want to like network with him a little bit more. And that person over there, they're doing subject to deals. Wow, subject to deals. I haven't done any of those either, right? I haven't done any of those. So we got all these people who are doing all these different things, and they're all a part of this community. Okay. And then maybe, just maybe, this is a long shot, maybe I might just learn something, right? And then finally, my humble hat came on. And with the humble hat came with possibility, an opportunity, potential, right? Because if your cup is full, your life doesn't change anymore. There's nothing more that can be added. And where my life was at the time, I definitely, I could not afford for my cup to be full, right? I could not afford for my cup to be full. So with the humble hat on, I was able to say yes to joining his group. And since then, I have done tons of deals. But what's even cooler is that I've been able to help other people do their deals. And so not only have I been able to escape my own 9-to-5, but I've been able to help other people escape their 9-to-5 based on this community that we have that provides this super high quality education. That's number one, right? That's the foundation of it all. So there's this super high quality education that just, it was light years ahead of anything that I've seen before, right? Then there's another side, like picture a triangle, right? The foundation is the education. And then on the one side, you got the support. right? You got the support of all of the members in there. We had a Facebook group, we had a morning phone call, we had a weekly study group. So we had all of this support by all of these different people who are like-minded, doing what you're doing. You don't feel crazy when you're around them. Have you noticed, okay? Feel free to chime in. Have you noticed that your friends, your family, your coworkers who are not entrepreneurs, who are not investors, business owners of any sort, they just work for the man. They make you feel like you're crazy for wanting more for your life. They make you feel like you're doing something wrong, right? It's like, guys, I'm just trying to better myself. Why are you making me feel like an evil person, right? It's like, the person you work for, that person's an entrepreneur, right? They started the business and that's why you have a job. I'm just trying to create a business just like they did. I'm trying to have a better future for me and my family just like they did. Why am I the weirdo? Because you have a job and I'm trying to better myself. So this support system that I'm referring to, they make you feel like you would be a weirdo if you wanted to just have a simple life staying at your 9 to 5, right? So it flipped it on its head. It's completely the opposite now. So this support system made me feel at home. Do you guys remember in the beginning of my story, I said when I was in corporate America, I could not fit in with all of the people because everybody was a brown noser and everybody would just suck up to their bosses and things like that, right? Here, I got to be myself and other people supported me for being me, and I could be authentic to the things that I wanted, and I could authentically share my emotions and my feelings and my struggles and my barriers, right? And I can authentically share that with people who understood because they were going through it too. That was incredibly powerful for me. Incredibly powerful, right? So then we got the foundation, which is the education, high quality education, knowing what to do, how to do it, when to do it, doing it the right way. You got the support system on the one side. And then on the other side, right, it's this, I like to call it like this opportunity multiplier, right? So you got this other side. It's where in this community, you're being shown new ways to operate. So I call it knowing what's on the menu. Knowing what's on the menu. So in real estate, there's 4 ways that I've broken down investing in real estate. 4 main ways I've broken it down. First, it's wholesaling. Second is fix and flip. Third is buy and hold. Fourth is be the bank, note investing, right? So there's 4 distinct ways to invest in real estate. Every real estate kind of deal is a variation of that. If you have never heard of one of the concepts, then you can't make money from it because you won't be doing it. You won't be pursuing it. And whatever you want to make money in, you need to pursue and become masterful at this. You need to know the skill sets behind it so that you can make money from it. So with knowing what's on the menu, you get to do more things. And by being around other people who are doing very unique things, you get to go, oh, maybe I want to do that too, right? And so you can either get involved with them and how they're doing it, or you can create your own deals because now you know what to do and what's possible, right? Know what's possible in terms of making money in the world. So for everybody who's watching this and they want to know how or why I eventually escaped my 9 to 5, well, the how is you make more money than you spend in bills, right? You make enough money to pay your bills and make the money outside of your job. So if you know more ways to make money, there's more opportunities to create the money that you need to pay your bills, right? Does that make sense? So if you're spending $5,000 a month in bills to live, whether it's your rent or mortgage, right? Your car payment, your food, your entertainment, all of that. If you know 10 different ways to make money outside of your job, and each one of those brings in $1,000 a month, you have more than double what you need in order to survive. And if you're making double what you need, then you can escape, right? You can escape fairly confidently. And if you have 10 different streams and one goes away, you're still making $9,000 a month, right? That's a simple equation, but I just want you guys to understand it. So this opportunity multiplier, you're being surrounded by people who are doing things that you've never heard of. You also are exposed to how do I put this? Their way of being, okay? It's their way of being. Have you ever met somebody where they just carry themselves in a unique way, and the things that they do and the actions that they take just seem so confident, and you're just like, wow, how are you so confident walking into that scenario, right? How is it that you're not worried? How is it that you're carrying yourself that way, right? So you're meeting people, and you are through osmosis absorbing a way of being, which allows you to take on more opportunities again. So this opportunity multiplier, it's a unique thing that most people have never talked about. And to be honest, I actually just figured it out today because I was thinking, what is it about this group that I joined that allows people to be so successful, right? What is it about this group that I joined that allowed me and other people in the group to be so successful? I was looking for the why. How is it possible? And it's because of this opportunity multiplier. It is this safe environment that shows you what's possible through people who are doing things that are a little different than you, showing you what's on the menu, and not only showing you what's on the menu, but showing through their actions how they make money from what's on the menu. So since joining, I have done wholesale deals with other members in the group. That's easy. I've done fix and flips where people have brought me deals, and I've also raised money from within the group, right? So I got the deal and I got the money for the fix and flip within the group. And then when I sold it, I made X number of dollars. I bought a ton of rental properties from members within the group. So again, opportunity multiplier. Not only am I looking and seeing people who are doing things that I want to do, but they are also providing me with the deal flow in order to do these deals. It's like, oh, Hone, you want to do that? Well, here's a property. Do it with this one. It's like, wow, that's incredible. That is incredible, right? So, and then I would talk to other people, and it's like, hey, guys, I'm doing this deal. Would anybody be interested? And then they're like, yeah, here's money. So I'm putting these things together, and I'm like, this is incredible. My opportunities are expanding because I'm working with people who understand what we're doing, what we're all about, right? So this opportunity multiplier, you're learning from people who are doing things in a way that you've never done. So I've done the wholesales, I've done the fix and flips, tons of buy and hold, and then being the bank. Being the bank was like a completely new thing. I didn't even know that was an opportunity or a possibility. I had no idea you can be the bank. I didn't know you can make money from holding a note or like lending money. I've combined 2 strategies. I've combined 3 strategies. I did a lease option, right? I did a lease option where I leased a property out. I did a rental, right? It was a rental. I rented the property out, and I rented the property out to somebody within the group. That person, when they rented the property from me, they then put a tenant in the property, right? So that's the renting part, right? So they were a long-term tenant for me. They went out and they found a different tenant to put in there. So they did a master lease. I leased it out to them. I gave them an option to buy it, but we weren't going to go to closing until 6 months later. Doing it 6 months later was because I wanted to improve the tax implication, because I wanted to sell the property to them ultimately. I had owned the property for 6 months, and we talked about, hey, Hone, I want to buy that property from you. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if I sell you the property right now, I would have owned it for 6 months. And if I owned it for 6 months, I have to pay what's called short-term capital gains, right? I have to pay short-term capital gains. And I'm like, I don't want to pay short-term capital gains because the tax implication is way higher. So I said, look, we'll do this. We'll do a lease option. I will rent it to you. So that means you have control of the property, and you are just going to make it a rental property anyway. So let me not stop you. Let me allow you to be the landlord you want to be. So let me lease it to you. You go lease it to somebody else. That's fine, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the rent that I'm charging you the same as it would be if you had a mortgage. Okay? So I'm gonna rent it to you, the lease part, right? I'm gonna rent it to you for another 6 months. And then at the end of the 6 months, I'm going to sell it to you, right? So now my rental turned into a flip. Now I'm flipping the property to him. I'm selling it to him, right? So I sell it to him 12 months later, right? I sell it to him 12 or 6 months later, 12 months in total of my ownership. After 12 months, it looks like long-term capital gains for me, not short-term. So I sell it to him on this lease option. He had the option to buy. So then when I sell the property, I tell him that I will not only sell you the property, but I will finance it for you. I will be the bank, and I will hold back a note. So now, instead of him giving me all the money or the bank giving me all the money, I am the bank. So now I've changed it from having a lease collecting monthly income through a lease. I've changed it to now collecting monthly interest. He now owns the building, and I am collecting a monthly interest payment from holding the note on the property. I am the bank. So I did 3 strategies all in one. There was 3 strategies all in one. I rented the property out. I then flipped it when he did the option, right? Rented the property out, flipped it when he did the option, and then I became the bank when I provided the financing for him to buy the property from me. That's a crazy one, right? That's a crazy one. I could not have done any of that without the education, right? Without the foundation, the education, and knowing exactly what to do, without having the opportunity multiplier that I'm talking about, right? Having this like awareness, the menu, knowing what's on the menu, and learning from other people who are doing what it is that I wanted to do, and understanding how to put it all together, what documents I needed, like all of that. So we have this triangle, right? We have this triangle. We have the education on the bottom. We got the support on the one side, and then we have the opportunity multiplier on the other side. Put that together, and that's why people were able to be so successful in the group. And I was just like, man, that's incredible. So I joined the group, and it's been about 4.5 years now. And it's been great because of all of the things that changed in my life in terms of my results, right? In terms of my results. When I first came in, I thought I knew everything. And it wasn't until going through the program that I learned how little I actually knew. But as I started to open up my mind more and more, I was able to do more things. And by doing more things, I've been able to help other people do more things. And that's just been so incredible. The journey has been, like, the journey alone was worth it. The being able to escape my 9 to 5, being able to afford my life without having a 9 to 5, like, that was all bonus. Like, who I became was just so much more valuable than the money, I want to say. And being able to be authentic and playful and whoever I am, like, just being able to be that without having to be a person who sucked up to their boss and all of that kind of stuff. Like, I couldn't play that game. So I never did well in corporate America. But through this, I do well because I get to be me, and I get to add what I bring to this world, this value, the value that I have. I get to add it to my opportunities. I get to add it to my life. I get to add it to my business. And like, there's like elements of me in all of it. And I incorporate all that. And because I do that, it's a better business. Having my personality infused in my business makes my business unique. It makes my business stand out. And that's been, that made all the difference. So how and why I eventually escaped my 9 to 5. The how was just by doing more things that made more money to pay my bills. That's the easy part. But the why is just because I wanted authenticity. I wanted to strive for a life that I actually cared for, that I wanted, where being me was allowed. And corporate America did not allow that. They did not like when people were authentically themselves, unless their authentic self was just to be like a suit and tie corporate robot. And I didn't fit. And so I'm going to guess some of you guys don't fit either, right? I'm going to guess some of you guys don't fit in corporate America wherever you work, and you're just doing it because you've been told to do that your whole entire life. So I understand. Now, you need to take a good look at your life, and this is that tipping point, right? You can choose to stay at the place that you're at now. And you have been. And if you continue to choose, right? If you continue to choose where you are, could you put up with what you're doing for the next 20 years? And how would your life look 20 years from now? Would you be happy with what you've chosen? We got a comment. So he says, Jonathan says, couldn't agree more. Appreciate the authenticity talk. Thank you, man. The authenticity, right? Can you last 20 more years of being someone who is fake, who is not being their genuine self, who is putting on an image, putting on a face, right? Every morning before they go to work. Okay, sorry, honey, got to go to work. Sorry, kids, got to go to work. Let me put my face on. Right? And let me appear the way they think I actually am. Let me go appear the way that I'm supposed to appear. And let me keep this mask on. Like everybody's talking about not wearing a mask, but you wear a mask every day and you keep that mask on for 8 hours. And you wonder why you're so stressed out, and you wonder why you hate life, and you wonder why you go through a midlife crisis. It's easy. After listening to all I said, it's easy to figure out why people go through those things. It's because they haven't lived their life at all, like 0 days. And then they have a major breakdown. So you're at this tipping point. You're at this critical point. You can choose to continue to do what you're doing and do it for another 20 years, right? 30 years, however old you are till the day you retire. You can choose that. Or you can try to be brave, right? You can try to take this brave step. And I say brave because it's scary. I mentioned earlier that I was scared. I wasn't this fearless person that ran through walls. Absolutely not. I was scared the whole time, but I was lucky that I encountered the right people at the right time that showed me the right things, and I said yes to the right things, and I was open-minded. And yeah, the best way that I can put it is I was lucky. And you could be lucky too, but you'll never be lucky if you always say no to everything. So if you say no to everything, you just shut off the world and you get more of what you have. And if you're not happy with what you have, then you have to do something different. And if you've been watching this video for this whole time, it is apparent without you having to say anything that there's something that's not working for you. So do something different. Be open to this new possibility. Learn what's on the menu. See how other people who are doing it do it, right? Get involved and allow the universe to be abundant. Most people don't allow for abundance to enter their life, right? They don't allow for the universe to show them how abundant the world is because there's no opportunity that the universe can enter, right? There's no opening for the universe to enter. There's no opportunity for the universe to show you that the world is abundant, that there's more money out there than you know what to do with, that the opportunities are not gone, they're endless. You just have to be open-minded and say yes to more things. So that's my story, guys, and that's how I eventually was able to escape. If you're interested in learning more, I had my email flowing at the bottom there, hone@honesloans.com. Feel free to email me. Let's get on a call. Let's talk. Let's chat on email, whatever you'd like. But if this is something that you want to look into, then you should. You only have one life, and the longer you take to decide, the more you're just delaying the start of it. It's going to take a little bit to build you up. So it's better to start now and give yourself that time to build up than to start a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whenever you think the time is right, right? It's better to start it now, let it build up so that a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, you've already got all of this information under your belt, right? You have all of this stuff. You are geared up. You're already moving versus starting 5 years from now, right? Because then that's the starting point. So if you want to have this conversation, email me and let's talk. We'll go through all of your breakdowns. We'll go through what it is that you're interested in accomplishing. We'll go through what's on the menu. We'll talk about a lot of things. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are that's going to email me, but I've had many of these conversations and I've seen many lives completely changed for the better. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'm open to it. And so email me, hone@honesloans.com. And until then, guys, I'll talk to you later. See ya.